Good afternoon and welcome to the Committee on Higher Education. Today is March 11th. We are in conference room 229 for our 3 p.m. agenda, although it is 3:09 due to some false emergency alarms that went on. Keep in mind that this meeting is being streamed live on YouTube, and in the unlikely event that we have any kind of disruption and have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties like the one we just had earlier today, the committee will convene to discuss outstanding business, on Thursday in room 229. Public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. Just a reminder, we have a 1-minute time limit per testifier. With that, we have 5 measures on our agenda today. Starting off with the first one, House Bill 442, House Draft 1. This is relating to the University of Hawaii, appropriates funds to the University of Hawaii system for various nursing programs. And first to testify, we have Clementia Sarah Ulip.
Good afternoon, Chair Kim, Vice Chair Kidani. This testimony is presented on behalf of the University of Hawaii system, including the UH Manawa School of Nursing and Dental Hygiene, UH West Oahu, and UH Hilo School of Nursing in strong support of this measure. And thank you for the opportunity to provide support. I'm here to answer questions.
Just a quick question. So you aware of our Senate bill that went over
was it 637?
637, which is pretty much the same?
Very much so, yes.
Okay, and
it's
you
the
supported
same.
that measure as well, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next testifier, Eric Abe. Support, let's see, Paige Choi, support, Rachel Wilkinson, Laura Reinhardt on support, Mike Nugent on Zoom. Mike?
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair. Mike Nguyen with Aloha Care. Just standing in strong support with our written testimony already submitted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We have 4 or 5 more in support. Anyone here wishing to testify on this measure? Hearing none. Anyone on Zoom? Hearing none. Members, any questions? Senator Favela, we are on HB 442, just starting.
Is that a trick question?
It might be. You ready for the test?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, hearing no questions, we will move right along. House Bill 1169, House Draft 1. This relates to the University of Hawaii Conference Center Revolving Fund. I swear we've heard this bill I don't know how many times, and we somehow don't get to pass it. Hopefully this will be the year that we'll pass it. And basically it repeals the Conference Center Revolving Fund. This is for various conference center programs in Hilo. And with that, we call on Calbert Young. There he is, Calbert Young. How many times have we gone on this bill?
I'm going to say, I think this is the 3rd year, but it could be
4th year.
4th, but yeah.
I know, we keep passing it, so I don't know where the bottleneck is on this measure, so.
Okay, thank you, Chair. You have our university's testimony. We can stand on our testimony. This is actually really more of a housekeeping bill. In the statute, there are currently 2 conference center statutes, one for UH Hilo and one for the community colleges. This bill just consolidates them into one conference center fund statute and then allows for all of the campuses to use a centralized fund. So it's just, it is a housekeeping measure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? Any questions, members? None. We move forward. House Bill 1185, House Draft 2. This is relating to agriculture, establishes a plant-based building materials working group to study and report on how best to grow plants and develop plant-based building materials in Hawaii. First to testify, Department of Ag. Anybody from Department of Agriculture? I don't have a name here. Okay, we have Parwinder Parwinder, I'm sorry, did I say that correctly? Grewal?
Yeah, Parvinder Grewal.
Parwinder, okay. Please.
Good to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. We do support the intent of this bill and stand on our written testimony. We do have a comment that we need to, develop some baseline data research so that we can be more informed before we develop a larger working group on this. And that's what we respectfully request.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Brian Miyamoto, in support. Hunter Hiavlin, I don't know if I said that correctly. Anybody on Zoom?
He's not present on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Ted Bowman?
Thank you, Chair Chim, Vice Chair Kidani, and members of the committee. Ted Boland on behalf of the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition and the Climate Protectors Hawaii in strong support of this bill. We have an opportunity here in Hawaii to develop a homegrown building materials with plants industry with green jobs in both agriculture and production. So it's a real economic boom potential. We've got the climate, we've got places in Hawaii that can grow plant materials that can be turned into building materials, such as clumping bamboo that grows really fast. It's a grass, so when you cut it, unlike a tree, it's not gone, it just grows back up. Hempcrete that you probably heard about, and they're biocements that can be used in place of cement. The reason these are important is that timber and steel and cement are all really big greenhouse gas emitters. And if we can develop things here that sequester, plants that sequester greenhouse gases, it can help move us toward our goal of eliminating carbon by 2050. Also, it's really an economic opportunity bill. That's the point of it. And so I hope that you can pass it. And in terms of the comments of CTAR, which I respect and I appreciate their support for the intent of the bill, I would like to get the working group going. And so I'd ask to pass the bill. And the baseline, there has been some baseline research done. A gentleman who was used to run the largest plywood mill in the world was hired to study eucalyptus in Hamakua and said that he got familiar with the market opportunities and logistics and other challenges for a timber business in Hawaii. And he said that a bamboo Hawaii-based timber business could be quite successful with export to the West Coast while addressing the local market as well. As you know, we have a lot of shipping. I'll leave it at that. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Question.
Yes.
What's the appropriations that you're requiring?
I think that's a question you'd have to develop with CTAR. I don't know the answer to that.
Thank you.
Okay, since you're up here, I
Yes.
already asked you the same question. So why do we need a working group? I mean, can't you just put people together, get some ideas, and then go from there? I mean, you've already seemed to have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, it's really about bringing different people together who can help move it forward. It's not that we have to have a working group, it's that a working group would really help move this industry forward.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Senator Vella.
Yes, I love working with her. She ready to ask my question. The reason why I bring this up, since I've been in this square building, a lot of the hemp community came out. I've seen all the products that they've been doing. Hemp been around since the first Bible, first money, all of these things is viable. So again, the same thing is, why would we need a working group knowing that this can be an industry? And Senator De La Cruz is already talking about how we want this to be a manufacturing ability here on island to do this. Because again, not only for the biofuel part, but concrete, right? Ford made the first car out of hemp. I don't know if you guys know that, Google it, it's there. But there's a lot of things that hemp can do. That, I'm not saying I'm against bamboo, but it's all good with bamboo, but I really want hemp to push forward. So I understand the working group, but there's a lot of people that's out there that be willing to sit at the table without a working group to go forward in getting this. All we need is to have a bill done to get the manufacturing moving forward. So
Yes.
I think you should just, go ahead.
Oh, thank you for the question, and I agree with you. It'd be great to get things moving forward. Where I might disagree is I think a working group, which is minimal expense, I believe, would help move it forward. Because you get everybody around the table in a formal thing, as opposed to, right now, we have people talking about hemp. We have people talking about bamboo, but it's not moving forward the way it could. And it could take a lot longer to develop these industries that could be really productive for Hawaii if we got things moving. So
Yeah,
that's the purpose.
That's the only problem for me is that, again, like what Senator Kim, it will cost money to do it. And like I said, not saying it's not worth it. It is worth it. I mean, I don't know how much sandwiches and a $5 meal is gonna go around the table so you guys can have lunch. But I support it. Whatever my colleagues do, I support it. But like I said, I think we can get there quicker, I guess, instead to try to get everybody to the table and break bread. But that's just my take of it. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
If I may say, I was on a working group for 4 years. We never got lunch.
Shucks. He was in the wrong group, brother.
Is there anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? Okay, hearing none, questions, so the University of Hawaii, Parwinder? So there is an appropriation in this bill, so what is the estimated amount of cost?
So
Do you
the
know?
way we are proposing to do basically some analysis of what different crops, we talked about bamboo, we talked about hemp, and where we will grow them. We have food production as the #1 priority, right, in the state, and then can we use marginal lands, that kind of thing, to produce these kinds of materials. And in order to do that kind of analysis and get some experts on board to finalize, to have some kind of policy statement, we are thinking about, say, about $150,000 over 2 years to do all that work, and then present the report to say what different crops make sense for Hawaii, and also keeping food and other priorities for land.
Okay, but why do we need to put together a legislative working group? I mean, can't the University of Hawaii bring together? I mean, you folks are supposedly, got all the degrees and so forth and connections in the community. And, you're waiting for this bill all this time. We could have had this working group started. And it would cost us $150,000?
Right, so
To put this working group together? And like this other gentleman just said, he was in a working group for 4 years. I mean, so I guess a hard time understanding all these studies and working groups that we spend all this money on, and then I don't know what happens to it.
I agree with you. This is not something that we propose to have a working group. I mean, we could do the analysis if that's how you think that's how we need to move forward. We are actually proposing that before we get a big group together, if we can provide the basis of it.
Can't you just do that without any kind of legislation? I mean, they keep saying the legislature wants to control the university and tell you guys what to do, but you guys can do it. Why don't we do it? Why don't you do it? Provide
Right,
the
so
data and the information.
we would need some support to do that extra work. I mean, we are so focused on the food side right now, and yes, this is also important, but we were not focused on this particular aspect, and we did not make a request for this. We are just answering your questions here.
Okay. Members, any other questions?
Sure.
Senator?
Follow up on that. So if we can do all of that, then why we need the appropriation? Why we need the 150? We get everybody together, right? That the industries that will come to the table, if the University of Hawaii leads this and put it out, that they want all the industries to come in and share them on this idea, what you just shared, a lot of them will come free. Because hemp Hawaii should have been the hemp capital of the world, but we're not for whatever reason. And they already got the analysis. They know that hemp can remediate the earth that has poisonous pesticides and certain things, and that's the reason why I suggested the Navy to look at planting hemp in Red Hill, but we're not even knowing if they're gonna get hemp on hemp. But the bottom line is that they already get studies on how they can grow the trees, what seedling is gonna look like. This is gonna be 20 feet, this is gonna be 40 feet. They already have all of that. All they need is an opportunity. So by having another one huddle and say, hey, we gotta throw the football to make one touchdown. Yeah, we gotta throw the football to make one touchdown. It's automatic. But why are we gonna have one group to huddle up to saying we need this? Yes, we do need them. There already is studies, there already is analysis out there that the industry with bamboo and other stuff that we grow here already or plan to grow, it works.
I mean, from my perspective, anybody in the industry or any individual can start to grow and build their business. We are not in a business of dictating anything to anybody. If somebody wants to start their bamboo business today, it's related to agriculture and they come to CTAR for any help on pest management or whatever the case may be, we will provide.
Yeah.
So we are not standing in the middle at all. Even today, I mean, you are questioning the value of the working group. I'm with you on it. So what is the utility of that? If there is already some evidence that business can work, we will support it. Absolutely.
Can I get your information so I can pass it on to them?
Say that again?
Can I get your information afterwards and I will pass it on to them so they can call you
Contact
tomorrow?
information.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we are moving on. We are on House Bill 1320, House Draft 1 relating to education, requires the University of Hawaii system to collect, analyze, and publicly report certain graduate outcome data, requires and appropriates funds for the development and maintenance of the graduate outcomes dashboard. And we have to testify Deborah Halbert, University of Hawaii.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Deborah Halbert, Vice President for Academic Strategy. We stand on our written testimony. As you can see, we do have links to some of the dashboards that we already have that provide postgraduate outcomes. It's my understanding that the intent of this bill would be to help us consolidate and better promote it to families who may not be as comfortable looking through the kinds of data that we have now. I'm happy to answer questions.
Okay, you're the only one that's on. No, I'm sorry. We have Ronald Sturgis. Are you here? Ronald? No? Okay. Question.
I was testifying for a different bill, not.
Oh, I'm sorry. You testified on the last one. Yeah, relief. Sorry. Deborah, you're the only one then. Questions? Senator Kidani.
So why would funds be needed for this?
So one of the things that we are looking at, and you probably know this already, is that under our current strategic plan, we have a new workforce imperative, and we hired a new workforce director. But she has no capacity to help fulfill some of the larger postgraduate outcome work that this dashboard sets up. So part of what the request is for is to help us envision how we can do workforce development for the system far better than we can with our current capacity. So that's part of it. The other part of it is our institutional research office has a staff that does a lot of data analysis as well, but data visualization is the new way in which a lot of this work is done, and we don't currently have someone whose expertise is in data visualization. So that's why we requested that those two positions be potentially part of this request.
Thank you.
So in the entire University of Hawaii, do you teach or have anybody that do data visualization?
Most likely in departments other than our institutional research office, they probably do have folks that teach those skills.
Okay, so do we have students that probably have those skills?
Potentially, and we could potentially hire them as internships in some of the different kinds of projects that we have
Yeah, well, I would hope
underway.
that you would do that because, requiring you to collect, analyze, publicly report the graduate outcome data, I mean, that's something that you are, like you said, you already do some of that, right? So is that
There are
something-
different databases that do it. Both the Census Bureau does collect data, and that's one of the databases that we reference. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at any of those databases. DXP has a dashboard, and then there's the Career Explorer. So there are different dashboards. There's different places where the data lives across different data systems. So some of those may be protected in ways that we wouldn't let students have access to.
Shouldn't you, as the University of Hawaii, have that data and put that data, make it public without us having to put together a bill? I mean, we keep asking every time, we appropriate all this money to the university and we want to know the data, how many graduates go into their profession, how many graduates, their majors, and all that. And they keep saying, oh, well, we'll get you that data or whatever, but shouldn't that data be already provided?
Well, some of it, and as you know, there's other bills that are currently under review this session that would give us access to better statewide data, because we don't currently have access to all of that data. So for example, they're not on our agenda for today, but there's the request that we have access to tax data so that we have a better sense of what our students will go on to do. So there are other things in the works that can help us to provide a better data picture than what we have right now. So right now, it is not a complete picture on what our students go on to do in the postgraduate world. We are, of course, trying to develop a long-term strategy for how we can provide better data and a better way for the state to understand how that will look. And so this, as I understand it, is part of what could be that vision. And also, I think from the perspective of Representative Garrett on the House side, this is a way that students, before they go to college, could have access to information about where their majors may go. And a lot of what our databases do right now is think about it from the perspective of how we present what our students are doing after the fact, if that makes sense as a distinction, even though a lot of students going into college don't really know yet what they want to be.
So under the data visualization, isn't there ways to get some of the students, like when they do student teaching and so forth, or internships that don't cost money, that the university can utilize within their system, within some of the areas where you can use them, instead of having us to go and get new positions?
Well, it would, yes. I mean, and we have a graduate student right now that we're paying for with foundation fund, or money that we've raised through the Strata account on postgraduate outcomes and internships. And she does have some of those skills, but again, they're not professionals in the area. So she's been able to help us do some work in data visualization for, actually it's more in terms of newsletters and those kinds of things. But for consistent high quality help, we would want to have somebody we could train and have on staff to help really look through how we visualize our data for not just, of course, postgraduate outcomes, but the way we would visualize any of our data on student success and workforce initiatives.
And that kind of funding is not available from systems?
Not in my budget, no.
Well, have you requested it?
This would be part of the request, and
Have you
again,
requested it from systems?
no.
Okay, because systems do in fact, out of our performance-based budgeting, take the balance of the monies that don't go out to the colleges for not meeting the performance measures or metrics. So I think last year was able to get $4 million. So I would think that this would be one of those areas where some of that funding can be used, because that's, other than that, we do have a bill that's saying that, what monies don't get dispersed should come back to the general fund. So I would think that the systems would want to show that these monies, even though it didn't meet the metrics, that is going towards areas in which to help meet some of the metrics that help as far as having this kind of data for a workforce.
And we certainly, we would want to use our performance funds for those kinds of strategic initiatives, but it's difficult to commit to full-time staffing off of performance funds that could ultimately need to be redistributed to campuses or other items. And I'll defer to all budget issues to my colleague who's in the room, but.
Yeah, well, nothing's easy, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that, unless there's an ask for it and a reason, it's always so easy, just come to the ledge and ask us, Okay, any other questions, members?
Yeah, Chair.
Senator Favela.
So when the kids or whatever apply for whatever they do, they say you gotta go to a portal to figure out maybe what area they go. Isn't that when they're in high school kind of thing? I mean, when they come to college, they're gonna look at data portal to figure out where they go. I mean, then what is the purpose of having them? I mean, when you go to college, I mean, a lot of them don't know what they're gonna do anyway, and that's the reason why, I'm not a promoter of college, but what I'm saying is, when they fill out the application for come to college, you guys already get most of the information on what classes they're taking for engineering or whatever, and then graduating, whatever. So you guys don't have an ability to put that in so that it can be taken out by the certain areas of the department so we can go forward. Because all we're looking at now is that getting a new data processing part or another program, then we gotta pay for, keep that program, then we gotta pay for 2 more people to come and do the program, and then we're not doing nothing within. So I always say this, not just to the university, but I say this all the time. We're getting top heavy in the state because these jobs is not gonna just come with a job, right? We gotta pay benefits and retirement and medical and all those good things that other people don't get. So that's why I don't understand, when are we gonna say when we're gonna stop, keep adding and adding and adding, and when we're gonna just say, let's use what we have. And it's easy to keep coming to the well if the well still have water, but if no more water, what you gonna do? You're gonna look for someplace else for water, but then you're gonna utilize what you got. I just have a problem, I have a problem with this whole thing. I'm for sharing data and getting things done to help our kids in college, but again, if you go through all high school, filling out all these applications and what you like be, and you go over there and then you think to yourself, I don't know what I like be. Let me go look at this program. Is that what we're seeing here?
Well, we can't solve the fact that all the young students don't necessarily know what they want to be when they grow up. I mean,
Then
sometimes.
we shouldn't tell them go to college because they're gonna be wasting their money.
Until they have a better sense. But, I mean, one of the things that has changed sort of nationally in the higher ed landscape is this focus on postgraduate outcomes. So not even, I think maybe 10 years ago, the focus was really on student success for getting to the period of graduation. So some of our performance metrics, for example, are based upon how many students we graduate within a 4-year or 6-year period. So those were the metrics that we were using even 10 years ago. That conversation is changing, and in part it's changing because we have more sophisticated ways to look at data and more data sharing across both the state and the national level, which means that we're either needing to shift resources or develop new resources to understand how to best maximize that data. Hence these kinds of developments of dashboards that UH has already done, but also why we're shifting to that conversation for these students before they even get there. So instead of looking through a course catalog or taking courses to see what they like, they can actually look now and see, if I go into this field, these are the outcomes for me. Like, these are the kinds of jobs that are available. This is how much money I would make. It also allows us, I think, more strategically to think about the kinds of programs we would offer in terms of living wages for the state and other programs we may want to produce in the future based on living wages. Does that make sense? So yes, the students definitely have to think through this. This provides them with another tool, and it also provides us with another tool for thinking through the postgraduate outcomes that now are a measure of what higher ed is needing to be doing.
Okay, so something that you just catch my, so part of my vocational rehab when I got hurt in construction to go out there and see what I wanted to do and go to higher learning or to a trade, I had to take the time, nobody used newspapers anymore. I had to go and circle how much jobs are being asked for that. I never knew a database, whatever. They told me, you want to do this? You got to go over the circle of engineering, whatever, yeah? So I did mechanic. And at that time, mechanics was still in a downtrend. So that's what I did. I ended up going mechanic school. By circling these things, then they think I okayed and they funded so that I could go to school and learn mechanic, because in the field, it was good paying and high demand. So again, these are the things, the jobs that you guys gonna be going, engineer, whatever the department it is, engineering, nursing, whatever, these are the jobs that you can get as engineering, or you can get as on X-ray tech, whatever. So those are the things that you guys can have already online. You guys don't need one dashboard database saying, oh yeah, this so much guys, Michelle graduated from college and this is what she did and she's successful. You can do that now. You can do that now with nursing, house, tourism, whatever. You can do all of that now, just by the departments you guys have. If they wanted to go in, oh, let me go look under engineering. Oh, only 10 guys would go here. Then they can do that. But if I have a whole new thing, dashboard, just for them to see how successful they might be when they graduate. I mean, I kind of confused on that because all I have to do is grab the newspaper and circle them. Oh, 1,000 mechanics, 150 nurses needed at Queens. I think if I take nursing, I might get one job after college.
Question, Senator.
Sorry, that's the question. Why would we really, you talk, all the stuff that you're saying, there's other ways of finding success and knowing that you'll be successful in the trade you will take, engineering, nursing. That's the question. Because you ought to create this whole thing so when they go to college, they're going to be successful and when they can go graduate, whatever, all of that. But there is other avenues.
You and I think sort of started our job searches in very similar ways, looking at newspapers and looking through paper materials. And this generation starts with the internet, or honestly, their phones or apps, a very different kind of world for them. What I think the impetus behind this bill is to try to make sure that they have a specified spot to go that's intuitive for parents and students who may be first generation, may not have had the kinds of opportunities that we had to understand these kinds of job searches, or don't know engineering exists as a field. I mean, honestly, when I was going to college, I didn't know most of these things existed because my parents never went. So I think that's part of the impetus behind it, is to create this space for students who wouldn't otherwise understand how to negotiate that complex landscape, which is higher ed. And let's face it, it's very complicated. We have 10 campuses, we have lots of different majors. Most of these are majors they've never heard of because high schools don't have them, and yet there's good jobs at the end of them. So it's really trying to provide the space to open up those opportunities for them.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Any other questions? I just want to add, I think sometimes we rely too much on data. There's a lot of information out there. It's like in the schools, what kids like to eat, what they don't like to eat. Okay, we got to go get data. We got to figure out when we know, we see what they're throwing away. We can ask the kids in the classroom, what do you like? But no, we got to go to a web page, or we got to go to an app, and then we got to analyze the app, and then we got to do all of those things. Costs money. At the end of the day, the money we spent could have been used better. I was a time when, we looked in the newspapers, like you said, for jobs. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have Google. We didn't have monster job, all these job places that you can find jobs, and people are sending me text messages on jobs and that I'm not even looking for a job. But it's out there already. I mean, and at what point do we stop spoon feeding people and letting them also look and find out what they want? I mean, it's all there. You go to ChatGPT, you type in stuff, they give you everything you want to know, and then some. So it's like, I don't know if this is the best use of the funding, is what I would. And I would hope that the university would start looking at not so much, this is not your bill or somebody else's, pipe dream. Is it a good use of funds? And that's what we don't do. Everybody comes in and say, yeah, we support this measure as long as it doesn't impact my budget. Well, that's okay. Spend everybody else's budget. It's not going to impact my budget, and let's put it in because it's nice to have. Well, it shouldn't be that way. They should analyze and look at how we spending responsibly taxpayers' monies and tuition monies. And I just hope that the university would do that. And because it's always nice to have these extra positions, these extra data. I don't know what people do with it, So anyway, that's my 2 cents on this measure. Any other questions? Senator Kidani.
Yes. So has the university looked within to see if there's positions already that can do this, rather than keep adding positions?
So I have no additional positions in the Office for the Vice President for Academic Strategy to allocate to
The
this.
university is a big organization.
So we would have to
yeah,
look to.
organization-wide.
That would be a different conversation
Yeah.
that I haven't had.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Not, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go away. You're on the next
Want me to just
measure
take-
as well.
Okay.
Okay, we are on House Bill 1171, House Draft 2, relating to the University of Hawaii relief funding, allows the Board of Regents to use funds in the University of Hawaii tuition and fees special fund for student aid in direct response to an emergency or disaster as declared by the governor. So, Deborah Halbert, you're testifying for the university.
Great, thank you again for having us here. We stand on our testimony in support, and Associate Vice President Farrah Gomes should be online to answer technical questions related to this bill.
Okay,
Yes, there she is.
okay, and we have Ronald Sturgis. Now, Ronald, it's your turn. Sorry about that. I saw Deborah's name and I just looked down and said,
Building up the anticipation. Aloha, Chair Kim, Vice Chair Kidani, thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony. My name is Arnold Sturgis here on behalf of the University of Hawaii Student Caucus. We are the representative body for the students, the 50,000 odd students of the University of Hawaii across the 10 campus system. And we're here today in strong support of House Bill 1171, House Draft 2. We stand our testimony as written with the comment that as students, we kind of see this as a really nice bill because it asks for no appropriations. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony. I'm here if you have any questions. Thank you.
sit right there.
Okay.
I have a question, but is there anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? We didn't have anyone send in. If not, members, we are open to questions. I can start off. I wanted to ask you, Ronald.
Yes.
So lately, these tuition special fund that takes all the student tuition have come under fire for various, using the funds for various other things other than related to possibly students directly. So in this case, are you looking that this helps current students or helping potential students, or?
I think this would hit both current and potential students. The potential for disaster is, I don't want to say omnipresent, but you know, you can never predict when a disaster will strike. And it's better to have this opportunity and not need it than need it and not have it. And especially as I don't have any direct ties to the Maui wildfires, but I had just gotten into school when that had started. And, you know, the idea that could have been me, that could have been someone I know, it could have been my friend. I would have wanted some way that I could have at least gotten some help, especially when I won't speak to what happened during the Maui wildfires, but I understand there's a lot of stuff surrounding it. And as a student, if I had felt left behind by all that, you know, it would have sucked. It could have ruined whatever future I had. It could have stifled whatever journey I had at the time and completely threw me off my rock. Just a little bit of help can go a long way, especially for people in need like that.
Okay, and just in general, do you think that the student tuition fund should be used for other things that not necessarily relates to students directly?
Correct me if I'm wrong, you're referring to the university's TFSF, right? The Tuition Fees and Special Fund, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
As I understand it, that account is used primarily just to run the university's operations in, as well as the general fund, am I correct?
Yes, but I think that if it's, that's why I'm asking you the question, that if it's, you know, tuition funds and fees, which is paid by the students in, as opposed to the general fund, which we give out from the overall taxpayers, come from the legislature, do you think that there should be a distinction as to how the tuition fund is used? Because it's kept, my understanding is there's a balance that carries over every year on that tuition fund, and that I think they use it for, and I'm sure Calvert can give us more on that, to fund special positions, I know monies go for the cancer center, monies go for, you know, other things. So I don't know, is there any thoughts by the students as to how that fund should be used in any way?
So as for the students, for how we are concerned with funding, pretty much, this would be only used in the event of an emergency.
Well, I'm asking, not in.
Oh, in general, you mean in general?
Yes.
Well, I'm not an accountant, so I can't speak too widely on that, although I do know a few accountant students. I wish they'd be here right now, but they're not. What I can say, at least from what I've heard, is that as long as it's paying for, you know, services that we benefit from, the students don't really see an issue. We have several other funds that work sort of similarly, where they take the monies come in as a package, and then we have our CSOs, which you may know about. They take money out of that package once it's gone into the TFSF fund, and that's how they fund their student services. We always ask about our fees, whether they're too high or too low. Most students usually don't care as long as we're not increasing it. So if we're not increasing tuition to compensate, the students don't really seem to have an issue.
Okay, well, there is a tuition increase on the horizon, so
Well,
anyway. Okay.
then when the students hear about that, I'm pretty sure I'll have some more feedback, but until then,
Yeah, the Regents, I understand, is having, looking at increasing tuition, increase in student housing fees and so forth. Not that it's not needed,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there to see what the
Yeah.
sense is of the students out there. Members, any questions? I have questions for Deborah. Thank you very much.
Of course, thank you.
And if we could get Farah back on, she'll have
Okay.
some of the technical answers to this one.
So Farah, if you're also on there, so in the sense of if there's an emergency, what students would then be helped? Like, okay, so in the case of the fires in Lahaina, and I know that, and I'm not sure if this came out of the tuition fund, but I know that the president went ahead and committed to pay for 4 years of college for any Lahaina Luna graduate who was going to attend the University of Hawaii. Did that come out of those tuition funds?
So Farah manages that program, so I'll let her answer that one.
Did that come out of the tuition funds?
That did not. That came out of UH Foundation funding.
Okay, so it was a sort of like a waiver of tuition for 4 years?
No, those are actually dollars that were gifted to the university from a private donor.
Okay. So in the case of this bill then, would it be, what kind of students would get this help?
So under this bill, it would be open to any student, even those students who already have the maximum amount of aid allowable by the university, because that is.
Okay, I'm wanting to know if it's non-university students, would this fund help them? Like in the
No,
case
we're
of.
talking,
Okay, so
they
like in the
would need
case
to
of
be a
Lahaina,
university.
it wouldn't go for would-be students, but it would just be current students that may.
Correct. It would be current students, yes.
Okay, that answers my question. Members, any other questions? None? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, members, that is the end. I will recess shortly for the calling back to order the Committee on Higher Education. We are in decision-making, starting off with House Bill 442, House Draft 1, relating to the University of Hawaii and the various nursing programs. The recommendation, members, is that we insert Senate Bill 673, replace the language in 442 with the language in 673, which is the nursing one that already the university supported, and don't believe we need any other amendments. Any discussion? Yes. So chair votes aye on amending 442 with the language in SB 673. Any discussion, members? Hearing none, chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Fukunaga, excuse. Senator Hashimoto.
Hold on. Oh, 637 and not 673. Okay, yeah, close. Dyslexia.
Okay, Senator Kim.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Fukunaga, excuse. Senator Hashimoto.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Measures adopted, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, Senate Bill 1169, House Draft 1. This is the Hawaii Conference Center revolving fund, and recommendation is to pass as is. Actually, I want to amend that to change the effective date to upon approval. So hopefully we can get this off our table. Sorry, Vice Chair.
Okay, so House Bill 1169, HD1, passed with amendments.
Yes.
Chair.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Fukunaga, excuse. Senator Hashimoto.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Measures adopted, Madam Chair.
Thank you. House Bill 1185, House Draft 2. Members, I'm going to recommend we defer this. Again, I don't necessarily think we need a working group. I think that CTAR has a lot of information that can be gotten, and I hope that people will get together anyway and work this out and not necessarily have to have government to tell them, that they got to put a group together to come up with this. So any discussion on this, members? Any objections? Hearing none, matter is deferred. Moving on to House Bill 1320, House Draft 1. This is requiring the University of Hawaii to collect and analyze and publicly report certain graduate outcome data. Members, I'm kind of torn on this measure. I'm going to go ahead and pass this out, the defective date to July 31, 2050, put into the committee report the concerns raised regarding the data, regarding whether or not this position really is one that we can justify, and some of the other things that was brought up in the meeting, send it on to Ways and Means because it has money in it, and yeah, so we will do that. Is any discussion? Hearing none, the chair votes aye in amending House Bill 1320, House Draft 1.
Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye, Senator Fukunaga excused, Senator Hashimoto. Aye. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Measures adopted, Madam Chair.
Okay, House Bill 1171, House Draft 2. This is relating to the University of Hawaii relief funding. Recommendation is to pass as is.
House Bill 1171, HE2, recommendation to pass unamended.
Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye, Senator Fukunaga excused, Senator Hashimoto.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Measures adopted, Madam Chair.
Thank you, and we are done.